Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so what if the real secret to, speaking English confidently wasn't about cramming complex grammar or
Right,
like
right.
tons of obscure vocabulary? What if it was actually about really understanding and being able to talk about the most mundane parts of your day?
Hmm.
Today, that's exactly what we're diving into. We've been listening closely to the daily routine English practice, Speak Your Day Confidently audio from Revnix Zone 360.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach.
And our mission here is really for you, the listener, to unlock how this, I guess, simple seeming topic can be a powerful shortcut. A way to talk about your whole day, morning till night, using common natural English.
Yeah,
But okay, let's really unpack this. Why? Why is something so basic,
yeah.
so personal, actually so powerful for communication?
Well, it's fascinating, really, because this very straightforward approach, it taps into some pretty deep cognitive stuff. It's not just about, learning a list of phrases off by heart. It's specifically set up to help you master the present simple tense, yes, but maybe more importantly, to build what the source calls a foundational speaking memory.
Speaking memory,
I
like muscle memory.
Exactly. Think of it like creating a mental shortcut, a macro almost, and for your day. So the language just comes out almost automatically because you've practiced it over and over.
Right.
It focuses on language that's practical, repeatable, and directly tied to what you actually do every day.
Okay, so let's follow their structure then, right from the start. The morning routine. The audio kind of walks you through these really universal things.
Hmm.
Waking up maybe around 7 a.m., getting out of bed, bit of a stretch, making the bed, which feels good, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Then it moves into getting ready. Bathroom, brushing teeth, shower, getting dressed, combing hair, the usual stuff.
The standard sequence.
And then breakfast. Around 7:30, it suggests. Toast and coffee are the examples. Maybe listening to music. It's actually quite striking, isn't it, how universal these little moments are.
Absolutely.
Pretty much everyone does some version of this wherever they are.
Yeah.
I guess that relatability must be a huge part of why it works.
Oh, definitely. And the present simple tense. It's not just a tense, it's arguably the tense for habits, for routines, for these universal truths. It's probably the most common structure you use day to day.
Right, makes sense.
So by mastering it in these really personal, really repeatable situations, you're not just learning words, you're basically hardwiring this fundamental grammar right into your daily life.
Okay.
And that consistent practice, that builds automaticity. The words just flow. You don't have to stop and think or mentally translate. It becomes second nature.
Okay, so you've got the morning down. Then Revnix Zone 360 kind of smartly widens the scope, moving into the more public part of the day, work or school.
Expanding out.
It sketches out leaving the house,
Okay.
say 8 a.m., taking the bus, maybe a 30-minute journey,
Yeah, a typical commute.
then arriving, getting there around 8:3, checking emails, planning your tasks, maybe meetings or classes, working on things.
The work or study block.
And of course, the lunch break. Usually around 1 p.m., it says, eating something light, maybe chatting with friends or colleagues.
Right.
And this is where, your language has to stretch a bit, right? Beyond just your personal habits. You're using more specific functional words now.
And that's absolutely crucial. If you think bigger picture, bringing in work or school stuff, it really expands your ability to talk about responsibilities, interactions. They're moving from just personal habits into, well, public and maybe professional life.
Yeah.
And the source gives a great template, but, real learning comes when you adapt it. What if you take the train? Or maybe you work from home?
Good point.
The real power here is that it's flexible. You can swap things out, tailor it, and that is where you test your actual language skill, your confidence, beyond just repeating lines.
Right, making it your own. Okay, so the main workday is done. The audio then helps you sort of shift gears into personal time.
Yeah.
Those afternoon and evening hours. Leisure, social stuff.
Yeah, winding down.
It mentions working till 5, maybe writing notes, organizing for tomorrow, leaving around 5:30.
Wrapping up.
Then the evening starts. Maybe a short walk, some exercise, relaxing, scrolling on your phone. We all do that.
Guilty? Mm-hmm.
Sometimes meeting friends, maybe going shopping, and then dinner. It suggests eating with family, maybe 8 p.m., often rice, vegetables, some curry, just as an example. So now we're seeing this mix, right? The formal tasks earlier, now more informal relaxation, social connection.
And what's really insightful, I think, is how describing all these different kinds of activities adds such richness to your language. You're not just talking about one dimension of your life.
True.
And that prompt in the source, keep repeating and imagining your own day, that's key.
Why is that so important?
Because when you imagine your specific day, your commute, what you ate, the learning becomes really personal. It sticks better. It's more memorable, more useful. You're not just practicing English, you're practicing your life in English.
Ah, okay. I see that. And then as the day wraps up, we get to the final bit. And honestly, this feels like the most powerful part of the whole method. The full day recap.
Right, pulling it all together.
The night routine itself covers, after dinner stuff. Watching TV, YouTube, maybe music or reading.
Relaxing activities.
Then getting ready for bed. Brush teeth, wash face, set the alarm. Bed by 10:30 maybe, thinking about goals.
The final steps.
But the real kicker, like I said, is that recap. Repeating the entire day, morning to night. The sourceless key actions like I wake up at 7 a.m., make my bed, brush teeth, shower, eat breakfast, get ready for work.
Highlights.
Take the bus, reach the office 8:30, work on tasks, meetings, eat lunch, talk with colleagues, finish work 5, go for a walk, eat dinner 8, relax, go to bed 10:30 p.m. And it tells you, say it again without looking.
Yeah, that's the challenge.
I mean, trying to narrate your whole day, start to finish, in a new language. That sounds like a serious mental workout. But wow, what a way to make it stick.
And this brings up a really important question, doesn't it? What actually happens in your brain when you consistently do that? Describe your whole day. How does that really shift your overall command of the language?
Yeah, what is the effect?
Well, that structured recap, that repetition, it's incredibly powerful. It builds fluency, definitely confidence, and that vital speaking memory we talked about. It reinforces the whole sequence.
Okay.
Cognitively, the benefits are huge. It's systematic review, but it forces active recall.
Yeah.
You're literally testing yourself. Can I pull this out of my memory?
Right, not just recognizing it.
Exactly. That active effort is what cements memories. It turns passive knowledge, stuff you kind of know, into active, usable, fluent language. By putting all those pieces together and doing that, say it again without looking bit, you're not just recalling single phrases. You're solidifying the entire story of your day. It becomes one whole accessible unit in your mind.
Okay, so we've walked through this whole breakdown. Morning, work, evening, night, recap. But for someone listening, maybe someone who's felt stuck with English for a while, how does tackling something that seems so simple, so mundane, like a daily routine, how does that really lead to a noticeable change in confidence and fluency? Beyond just knowing a few phrases, what's the breakthrough for you, the listener?
That's the core question, isn't it?
Yeah. So this deep dive into describing your daily routine, using the Revnix Zone 360 audio as a guide, it really hammers home the impact, doesn't it? Consistently practicing your day in English, using that present simple tense.
It really does.
It's fundamental, basic even, but it's so potent for building confidence, building fluency, creating that robust speaking memory, that feeling where the words just come out.
Like you said, muscle memory for your mouth, that intuitive recall.
Yeah, without consciously thinking about grammar rules or translating in your head.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, actually articulating your own daily life in a new language, it's way more than just a drill. It's a powerful tool for, like, self-awareness and active learning.
How so?
Well, it really underlines that when you master the language of your everyday actions, you are genuinely building the foundation, the bedrock for almost any conversation you might want to have.
Right.
Linguists talk about chunking or formulaic language. This method uses that. It helps your brain process these predictable phrases as single units, which reduces the mental effort.
Makes it easier to handle.
Exactly. Frees up brain power.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you listening. Instead of just repeating phrases from an audio track, what if you started really observing your own day, your unique patterns, the exact time you wake up, what you actually have for breakfast, your specific commute, maybe it's biking, maybe it's walking, the little quirks of your afternoon break.
Yeah, the personal details.
Challenge yourself. Try to describe those unique personal details in English, maybe every morning. Turn this simple exercise into a really personal and probably much more effective habit.